Hello, Julia Watts here, continuing with my stencil techniques, and today we're going to be using a couple of the DL or the Slender Stencils from Sentimentally Yours. I tend to go for the 6x6, but I thought we'd use one of these for a change. And this is the Sophistication, which is exclusive to retailers. It won't be on the TV at all. And I've just got a piece of white card here. And we're going to pop it along the edge there so I know that it's straight. And I'm just going to give it a hinge with a piece of low-tack tape. I think that's straightish. Okay, so to begin with, we're going to just lay some colour down. So just ink through the stencil with the Spice Marmalade Distress ink. And I am tending to go for distress inks nowadays because they're on my brushes as opposed to my foam, which has oxide on it. And also I might want to stamp on top. Sometimes I do. As I said, this is Spice Marmalade. So just very, very simply, we're just going circular motions all over. This is a Studio Light blending brush. I think I have one pack left of this. I like these because obviously they're coloured, so even though you can tell because they're nice and white, so you can see what colour's on there. Obviously I can use the orange for the oranges and the yellows for the yellows, etc, etc. So giving it a nice ink through. I'm not too bothered about whether it goes over the edge because I will die cut this at some point. Obviously where the ink touches the edge of the stencil within the design, you're going to get a bit more intensity of colour. But that's as simple as it gets. If I pull that back, you can see you've got a beautiful design there. Simple, easy peasy. I think we forget that just inking through stencils is just so effective. I'm going to also just give it a little bit of highlighting, some spot inking if you like. So we're going to pop that back in place, and within the Craft Artist blending brushes there is actually this diddy little one here. So we're going to use ground espresso for a change, and I'm just going to ink in the spots. You do get a little bit of texture from the ends of the brushes because you are actually just spotting in there rather than blending it, but that's fine because it settles into the card nicely. And there is a little tiny bit just on the edge there, and there's a little one there. Not that I necessarily use the whole thing, but you know, for completeness. Dot. And you could go in and do different areas, but I'm just doing these circles here. You can obviously mix your colours on your stencil as well, so we could have graduated colours going like an ombre if you wanted to. Let's just dot that there and just dot that one there, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I think I've done them all. We'll soon find out because it will be very apparent. So peel that back. And just that highlighting, I think that makes all the difference. That's ground espresso. Let's peel that away now and I'll show you. Isn't that lovely? I do like the sort of graduation colours that you get from the blending brushes. So, I mean, we've got new dies out from Sentimentally Yours. You could take, this is the Gothic top tag. You could die cut that and have just a sentiment along the edge, or you could have an image on here if you wanted to. You know, think outside the box a little bit and pretend that it's all been die cut already. So just as an idea of how you could use it. Obviously you can go on a DL card as well, or it could be just a border on any card, but I think that's really lovely. That's that one. I did say they were really simple techniques. Then we're going to take another piece of white card and we're going to use the Extravagance DL stencil or Slender Stencil, and you're going to do exactly the same thing. Pop it up against the edge of the card and just give it a hinge with some low tack tape. And this time we're going to go for Lumberjack Plaid Distress Ink. And you'll find all these over on my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk. And again, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to add some ink through the stencil. Give it a bit of colour. It's quite a pinky red, this one. At least it is in Distress. In oxide it'll be a stronger colour. I think that'll do nicely. I'll show you what that looks like. It's the beauty of the hinge, you see, you can just show you. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. So let's turn it this way so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to leave that in place. Then I want to take a Pigma Micron pen. This is an 05. I think I've got some Pigma Micron pens left on my website. I could have done with a smaller one, but I can't find them at the moment. So all we're going to do is draw through the stencil, following the lines. And if you've got points, you're better off starting at the point rather than starting halfway down the line, and then you get a smoother finish. Occasionally you'll find sometimes that if you're going a bit quick, you might jump outside of the design. Don't worry, I've got one that I've done already, so you don't have to watch me do all of it. I'll just do one motif. Probably get ink over your fingers where you're leaning on the stencil because of the distress being on there. Let's see. Again, this is one of those mindful things. Use your stencil for mindful art. Obviously crafting itself is quite mindful and relaxing. If it goes right. If it goes completely wrong, it can be very frustrating. I've jumped out there, going a bit quick. Let's just do that one there. You can do them in different colours if you wanted to, because you can get Pigma Microns in lots of different colours. There is a video that on my channel already where I've drawn through the stencil with moonlight pens. You can also do it with souffle pens from Sakura. And that's one motif finished. So if I now flip that up, you can see how effective that is to do that. Totally different to the areas next to it, which have just been inked. And I have got one that I've done the whole thing on. Let's put the top on that. Which is here. There's a few areas where I've jumped out, but I'm not, you can't see them necessarily. You'd have to really look closely. So there we are. There's a couple of really simple inking techniques with the Slender Stencils. As I said, they're on my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk. You'll also find the stencils over at Honeypot Crafts as well. Do like and subscribe over on my YouTube channel. I love to read your comments. Hope you're finding all these techniques really useful. Thank you for watching.